It's our 2 o'clock Commissioner consent agenda. Let the record reflect that there was no, all 5 commissioners are present. 2 are on Zoom, Commissioner French and Commissioner Jordan. And then there was no written comments that were received for items that are on today's agenda. So we will start with the pledge. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So the next item of business is our open public forum, and we do have 3 people that are wishing to testify today at our open public forum. So we will start with Hank Beinecker. If you would please come up and just state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes, and the timer will be up on the screen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name's Hank Beinecker. I am a city council member for the city of Airway Heights. This is my first commission meeting, so anyway, I appreciate you guys hearing me. I live at 12420 West 5th Avenue, Airway Heights, Washington, 99001, and I'm not going to be long-winded, so that's a saving grace for you guys. I just wanted to ask for 2 things. Actually, it's just some help. Number one, there's been talk about the aquifer protection area, and I'd like to solicit any help, and from our good representative, Commissioner Al French as well, and see if there's anything that can be done for the West Plains folks. You know, we're all kind of suffering from the, as you no doubt read and heard, the PFAS contamination, and I'm not going to spend any time on educating anybody about the PFAS issue, but just know that there are people out there that are really in a tough situation, especially those that are on private wells. The folks in Airway Heights could simply connect to the good folks of Spokane, city of Spokane, and get our water, so our problem has been averted, at least temporarily. But the folks that are on wells, and there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000 wells that are, not all of which are contaminated, mind you, but a good, I'm sure a good percentage of them are. And these people are in a tough situation. You know, they really don't know who to turn to or what to do. So I'm just here simply to solicit whatever help the commission can offer would be more than appreciated. And secondly, I happen to know our Commissioner Al French. He's a good guy, and I trust him, and I even like the guy. He's a likable guy. But I would invite him to, maybe as a suggestion, just to sort of build some additional trust with the folks in the area, maybe to host some sort of a town hall or something that could take questions, and maybe he could fill us in a little bit, all of us for that matter, fill us in on a little bit about what's going on in District 5 and how he might support our efforts. And so, and whatever help he can garner would be very much appreciated. I know the folks would be thankful for that. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next we have, okay, Commissioner French, you raised your hand.
Well, I did. I wanted to thank Mr. Beinecker for coming forward, and we are going to be putting together a town hall and also a group of elected leaders from the West Plains to be able to deal with the APA and creating that vision for being able to move forward and stuff. So folks should be expecting to see something here in the next week or 2 with regard to being putting together both a town hall meeting as well as I've been already started to reach out to local leadership on the West Plains to be able to coalesce folks together. So just wanted to provide a response to Mr. Beinecker, who is also a good guy.
Much appreciated. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much. So next we have Julia McHugh.
Julia McHugh, 1514 North Grove Road. Thank you, Mr. French. We are tickled to hear this. You have 2 documents that I sent to your staff. One I will not go through. It is my chronology of our representation on the West Plains. 2 years and 2 months ago, I sent a letter to the 3-member County Commissioner Board and never received a response, but did get confirmation of receipt. This gives me standing on this issue in that I noted the PFAS ecology grant and also that I had a contaminated well. So please read through this. It's lengthy, but it could open some eyes. So I'm just going to rip through what else I sent you today, and that is the reasons for extending and expanding the Spokane Valley Rathdrum Prairie APA ballot initiative to include the West Plains Aquifer System, and to delay the ballot until spring of '25 are as follows. There is not nearly enough time after attending your morning meeting today. There's not nearly enough time to prepare the numerous documents, conduct an information campaign, and to properly and thoroughly inform your constituents on the West Plains or within the SVRP. Second, and as important, the West Plains citizens have heard nothing from our representative to date, except at these public forums, and are due consultation and representation for the multiple issues in our area. That's what we pay you folks for. I know you do good work, but we're wanting to invite you out to the West Plains, and please come, Al. The census tract data reveal a significant poverty level in the West Plains, making it unlikely for such an initiative on its own to pass if only voted by West Plains residents. The S3R3 Solutions Board has adroitly identified the census tracts in and around the Airway Heights area. So check with them. They've got all the data. By hustling this up to the fall of 2024, you're setting up the West Plains citizens, your constituents, for failure. It just is very unlikely to pass. Mr. French comes out and finds out differently, then I'll be happy to hear an alternative view. There was no mention at today's briefing, your county commissioner briefing, of the cities of Airway Heights, Medical Lake, Cheney, the Four Lakes community, all of which are affected West Plains municipalities. How come they don't get mentioned? I don't know. Ask yourselves that. There was no mention of the Spokane International Airport, an asset that is jointly owned by the city of Spokane and Spokane County. Surely each one of you commissioners and Mr. Simmons is aware of the assets and liabilities engendered in such a holding. Also on the West Plains, as you well know, there was no mention of the waste to energy. It says usually on your slip. I'm not done. There was no mention of the waste to energy facility owned by the city.
We do have a 3-minute limit.
Your
so-
slip says usually limited. I have 2 more things to say.
No.
The West Plains bears a lopsided responsibility for
Rebecca, can
the
you
impacts
shut
of
your
these
mic up?
facilities. We have garbage hauling, we have incineration, we have landfills, we have gravel pits, we have prisons, we have casinos, we have racetracks. This is a common resource. It's not just the West Plains, it is Spokane Valley, the millions of people that come out and get on the airplanes. We also are the site of our blessed military preparedness. I want you to know this is absolutely critical to the West Plains, and we deserve to be included within the entire
Yes,
APA
so
designation.
I will ask in the future that it is 3 minutes is our maximum unless we have it be shorter. And so
Here's your form. It says usually 3 minutes. This is an unusual.
thank you. And I guess I would just ask in the future that you be respectful of us as well. So,
I have respected you in every possible way. I submitted my materials in writing.
thank you. Eric Lowe is our next speaker. He's good. Don't worry. Again,
You want to come stand next to Dada? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then if you'd please state your name and address for the record, and you do
Yes.
have 3 minutes, and I do I guess I will just recognize that you did hand out a slip to all of us.
Yes.
I have
So I do that because sometimes I tend to go over, so I want to make sure you have all my comments. My
Thank
name
you.
is Eric Lowe. I'm a stay-at-home dad residing in Spokane Valley at 19027 East Michieli Lane. I'm here to speak about STA leadership and the county's role in governance of that agency. I attended the January STA Board of Directors meeting and told Commissioner French in his capacity as STA Board Chair to stop mucking about in the affairs of an agency for which he clearly cares very little. Because Commissioner French is incapable of winning arguments on the merits, he resorts to backstabbing and sabotage as highlighted in the December 20th Range article. When sabotage doesn't work, he resorts to personal attacks, like when he sneered at Spokane Councilmember Zach Sapone at that STA meeting. I know why you want to be on P&D. You want to be in control. You had to be there to fully grasp the resentment Commissioner French has for Councilmember Sapone. I'm sorry. And it is abundantly clear that Mr. French lets that hatred cloud his judgment. After the City of Spokane representatives deftly outmaneuvered him and the agency counsel who acts as Al French's personal counsel at STA meetings, Mr. French is now relegated to chiding the City Council from the letters to the editor of the Spokesman Review. In Sunday's letters to the editor, Commissioner French complained that we have a City Council poised to exclude council members from the Northeast District from the opportunity to represent the voters who elected them. I'm not sure if Commissioner French is aware, but City Council President Betsy Wilkerson was elected to that citywide position in November. Because it is a citywide position, she represents the entirety of the city, including District 1. I do not believe this is an issue of representation. This is, in the words of Mr. French, about control. I don't believe for a second that Mr. French honestly believes the words he wrote in the Spokesman. He wants a lackey who will do his bidding without complaint. Rather than worrying about STA, I'm of the opinion that Commissioner French should instead focus his attention on the wildly dangerous roads of Spokane County. In 2023, there were 55 fatal crashes in Spokane County with at least 58 fatalities. There were 25 homicides across Spokane County during that same period. Just a few pages away from where Commissioner French was showing the world that he doesn't understand how representative democracy works, there was a full-page write-up with a short memorial of every 2023 homicide victim in the county. There is no similar write-up for the victims of traffic violence, despite over twice as many victims. Last week, there was a fatal collision on Bigelow Gulch Road, a once sleepy road that I've been horrified to watch be transformed into a highway by a parade of past and present county commissioners. Is Commissioner French's unhealthy focus on STA the result of his own failures as city council member and county commissioner, or is it the result of never-ending quest for more power? Either way, stop it.
That is the end of the open public testimony. I guess, is there anyone else? We have a few more minutes. Is there anyone else that would like to testify? Seeing no one, I am going to close the open public testimony, and we will continue on our agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve items 3, 4, and 5, including all sub-items on today's 2 p.m. consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for items 3, 4, and 5, and all sub-items on today's agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That is going to take us to our public hearing that we have today, which is 6A, which is to consider revising Spokane County Code Chapter 1 to include county volunteers for the Spokane County Public Works Department. I believe, Kyle, are you coming up to speak to this?
Thank you, Ron. This hearing is about amending Spokane County Code, chapters 1.19.030 and 1.19.050. Next slide. This is a very simple amendment to the code related to ceremonies and celebrations. Upon review last year of this code, it was determined that volunteers would be excluded by any expenditures of public funds for refreshments and or light meals following this code. Specifically relates to employees and the public, but volunteers actually fall into a separate definition because they are sometimes in back of house, and if light refreshment or something were put out in back of house, it would not be publicly available. And so it's a small nuance within the language of this code amendment, such that when we do something like when we had the Doris Morrison Learning Center opening, or something along those lines, where we have, a dozen volunteers that are spending all day there on behalf of the county to support it, leading guides or doing anything that would be a community volunteer event, they're actually excluded from this. So we, at that one, had staff and folks chipping in to keep them moving all day long. This code currently allows, it doesn't change any of the aggregated amounts. It doesn't change any of the minimum thresholds. It's just simply an amendment that would require that, or that would open up this type of fund usage to volunteers specifically. I think there's one more slide there, Ron. And it amends the same thing for training and retreats as the last one was ceremonies and celebrations, in the exact same manner to, again, allow volunteers. That's it.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Tuig? No. I would say thank you for bringing this forward because, yes, we did have the issue at the Doris Morrison Learning Center, and we certainly want to make sure that we're helping take care of, simple things that we provided at the celebration that were then personally paid for by individuals. So, so thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is a public hearing item, so then I will now open it up for public hearing on item 6A as printed on today's agenda. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 6A. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify. Seeing no one online and no one in the audience, I will close the open public testimony, and I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, move to approve public hearing item number 6A.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve public hearing item 6A as printed on today's agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to our by-leave items that we have today, and we have 3, and we'll take each one individually as I will open it up for public testimony after each one, since we are making a decision on them today, and this is the first time to the public. So item number 7 is a resolution in the matter of awarding bid to Flock Safety, 1170 Howell Mill Road, Northwest Suite 201, Atlanta, Georgia 30318 for Flock Safety hardware and software in the amount of $750,000 over a 5-year period for the Spokane County Sheriff's Department, project number P13804. I don't believe we have anyone from the Sheriff's Office. No. Okay. We were given a briefing on this morning, and so this is now coming before us this afternoon. So I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, move to approve by leave item number 7, resolution in the matter of awarding bid to Flock Safety, 1170 Howell Mill Road, Northwest Suite 201, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318 for Flock Safety hardware and software in the amount of $750,000 over a 5-year period for the Spokane County Sheriff's Department, project number P13804.
Do I have a second?
Second. Sorry.
Commissioner Jordan?
Madam Chair, do we need to open it up for public hearing before we vote on this item?
Yes, before we vote, I needed to get the motion in
Okay.
a second first, and then now I will open it up. I will ask
Thank
if
you.
there's any other questions that our commissioners have at this point. And see none, then I will open it up to open public testimony, as this is an item that is just coming before us this afternoon. Anyone wishing to testify on by leave item number 7? Second call? Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on by leave item 7. Seeing none online or none in the audience, I will close the open public testimony, and I will see if there's any further discussion from the commissioners. Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will take us to item 8, which is a resolution in the matter of awarding a bid to MJ Tasaki, Inc., 1620 North Mamer Road, Building C, Suite 100, Spokane Valley, Washington, 99216, for construction services for Bear Lake Regional Park Phase 1 project in the amount of lump sum base bid of $2,806,167.90, plus an alternate to it, which is number 1, which is an additional $7,783.20 for a total of $2,813,951.10, which includes taxes for the Spokane County Park, Recreation, and Golf Department project number P13463-C. Actually, we'll have Mr. Simmons just speak to this quickly.
Yes, thanks, Commissioners. So this is a project that the Parks Department has been working on for a number of years. It is a project that's included in the county's 6-year capital improvement program. It has been budgeted for with a combination of grants from the state as well as some of county real estate excise taxes. The construction, the bid that we got was the lowest responsive bidder, and the amount of the capital or the construction is contemplated to be within our budget anticipated for this project.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, move to approve by leave Resolution 8 as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Now, this is again another item that I will open up for public testimony. So I will now open up for public testimony for anyone wishing to speak to item 8, by leave item 8. See no one. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on by leave item 8. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on by leave item 8. See no one online and no one in the audience, I will close the open public testimony. Is there any further discussion by any of the commissioners? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That will take us to then item number 9, which is a by leave item. This was an item that I brought up under miscellaneous that was circulated last week in the matter of approving and authorizing the drafting and signing of a letter to City of Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown in response to the letter dated January 22nd, 2024, regarding the City of Spokane's representation on the Spokane Regional Health District Board, Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health. Let me make sure I say that correctly. So the letter is in front of you. I believe it has been sent to the other commissioners. I made the changes that we spoke about this morning. So I don't know if there's any other changes or comments. Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate all the efforts to continue editing this today. When I was just reading it, the most current draft a few minutes before the meeting, I was looking at the third paragraph where it says we would ask you and the city administration to work closely with Council Member Cathcart and provide him with full access to city resources and data necessary to be an effective advocate for the city. I just wanted to propose a slightly different wording, which would say we appreciate your stated commitment on behalf of the city administration to work closely with Councilmember Cathcart. And the reason I'm asking for that is I was reading Mayor Brown's letter over the lunch break And it does state, I will ensure Councilmember Cathcart and all City of Spokane elected officials appointed to the Board of Health have the city resources and data necessary to be effective advocates for public health on behalf of the citizens of Spokane. So Mayor Brown's already committed to that in writing. I think if we're going to reference that, we should just say we appreciate that's already stated commitment. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I guess I'm not sure, at this point, I've made several changes to this. It was sent out the end of last week, and I was asking for changes prior to that. It's harder to make the changes on the dais, which is why I was asking in advance. And then we had the discussion this morning. So thank you for that consideration. Unless I have all the board members that want to do that, I'm willing to stick with the letter that we have. Commissioner Waldron.
Well, I appreciate that Commissioner Jordan was rereading the letter. I mean, I think his change makes sense because the city already said that they will work to make sure every representative of the city has all the resources. So, I mean, I would support, we appreciate your commitment, to work closely with Councilmember Cathcart and provide him with full access to city resources. I mean, that was already stated in their letter, so seems like a small change, but important to acknowledge that they said they were going to do that at the city.
Yeah, and I think in the response to it, I was just reiterating what they'd already said. So I wasn't trying to make it anything different. So I think I'm leaving at this point. I've made several changes that everybody's wanted. And again, this on the dais isn't where I like to be making changes. So that's I guess my privilege as chair that hopefully we will make these changes in advance so that way the letter that is before us is what's being voted on. So, okay, I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, move to approve by leave item resolution number 9 in the matter of approving and authorizing the drafting and signing of a letter to the City of Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown in response to letter dated January 22nd, 2024 regarding City of Spokane's representation on the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Jordan.
Can we speak to the motion now? Is that where we're at?
Sure.
I just wanted to thank the chair for your efforts to put this together and to take the comments, most of the comments that were made, and to edit appropriately. I just wanted to say, for my own personal view, for the record, I'm happy to authorize the chair to sign the letter. As I read it, it essentially says that we'll take Mayor Brown's suggestions under consideration once the current terms expire for the board members. I just wanted to make my own view clear, as I stated in December, that I was disappointed with the process for the appointment that was made. As we discussed this morning, it wasn't put on the agenda in advance. I know Commissioner Waldriff spoke to a few of these concerns this morning as well. I do think that Mayor Brown's request in her letter was reasonable. It simply asked for consultation with the city. And I hope we can do that in the future for similar decisions. I did make a motion at that December meeting to appoint Council President Wilkerson. I am disappointed that did not pass, but we are where we are, and I do think it's a reasonable letter. So I will support the letter.
Thank you. Commissioner Waldron.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for making most of the changes, and I do look forward to when we get to 2 years down the road, which is when the terms would expire. It doesn't preclude us from always looking at how we want to structure the board, but appreciate that we'll always look at the structure of the Board of Health and relook at that. And we did look at it this year because we had a request from the mayor of Millwood to look at the structure, and he made some different suggestions. And we did consider those. And so I appreciate that we can consider changes to the structure in the next couple of years, and I'll support the letter.
Commissioner French.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I likewise will support the letter because I think it speaks about the spirit of board representation and stuff. And I can only hope that in 2 years, everybody will become more enlightened about the process of board and representation for everybody in this community. So thank you for your efforts in terms of the letter.
Thank you. And I will just, I stated today that in 2 years, Commissioner Waldorf would be chair of the Health Board, and so it'll be integral to have the timing from the Health Board information coming before to the county commissioners, so we have that timing down so we can make these decisions in December versus waiting until January so we can start the process. Every 2 years on the Health Board, we have to reappoint the citizen appointees and the city representatives. So, so we were a little behind the times on that, and in 2 years we'll be on top of it. So, thank you. With that, then I have a motion and a second, and I do need to open this up for open public testimony since it's a decision we're making without being noticed. So this is for by leave item number 9. I'm going to say second call for anyone wishing to testify on by leave item 9. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on by leave item 9. Seeing no one online, no one in the audience, I will close the open public testimony and call for the vote. All those in favor of by leave item 9, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That will then take us to, are there any miscellaneous items, Mr. Simmons or Mr. Anderson, before I do know we have one executive session?
No miscellaneous from me.
There's going to be a very short second executive session.
Okay. So we have 2 executive sessions that will occur this afternoon. It is, and would you like to state the purpose and timing and if action is going to be taken or not?
Sure. First executive session will be under labor negotiations, RCW 4230, 140, sub-bullet 4. This will include, in addition to the board, Chris Anderson, myself. It'll also include Ashley Cameron and Josh Grote. We'll start with 30 minutes for that. No action anticipated.
And the second is executive session pursuant to pending potential litigation under RCW 4230-110-1I. This involved the board, myself, Scott Simmons, and no action.
And how long?
5 minutes.
Okay, so no action is anticipated on either one of those items. The stated purpose has already been stated. It is 2:37. It'll take us a few minutes to get into executive session. So at 2:40, we will start the executive session, and we will go for 35 minutes. At that time, we will adjourn, and if we need to state that we were in longer, we will do that. But we will be adjourning after the executive session this afternoon. Thank you all very much for being here.